Hello everyone, and welcome to loadedmanualtherapy.com. My name's Dave Leyland, and this is our first extended video for the website, so thanks for coming to watch it. Today we're going to be going over one of my favorite mobilizations, which is the Posterior Talocrural Glide. This is a key mobilization when it comes to restoring ankle dorsiflexion, and today I have 3 tips to maximize your efficiency with the mobilization. So the first tip all comes down to body position. So one thing I see quite often is people would be trying to perform this mobilization and the table will be too high and they're kind of all scrunched up like this. So we need to lower the table, and often it needs to be lowered more than you think. We really want to do this so we can get a nice straight line of force from our shoulder so our body can provide the joint glide rather than having to try to squeeze it out with our hands. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come stabilize the distal tib fib. With this mobilization, you can do either or. You don't have to do it one way with one side and the other way has to be the opposite. Whatever works best for you is okay with this mobilization. So I'm going to stabilize the distal tib fib. I'm going to support the foot on my thigh. And then using the web space, I'm going to put that on the front of the talus, and that's going to be our gliding force. But here, because I've now lowered the bed, you can see how much on top of the joint I can get. So I'm stabilizing that distal tib fib, and now with my body, I can really apply that glide nicely. Whereas if the table was up here, I'm not going to be able to get the same output with that mobilization. So make sure we're setting the table up first to get the effective mobilization. Okay, so the next tip I want to go over is making sure we're getting a true posterior glide of the talus into the talocrural space. So one thing I see quite a bit is people are going to stabilize that distal tib fib, and then they're going to just kind of hang out in this shallow range, almost like they're doing grade 2 or grade 3. And that can be effective if someone has an acute ankle and we're maybe not as worried about increasing range of motion. But if someone's coming in with stiffness in their ankle and we want to change that, I really think we need to be pushing more of a grade 4 mobilization. So I'm going to stabilize that distal tib fib, the foot is on my thigh, I'm going to put the web space on the talus, and then from here what I want to do is I want to make sure I'm actually getting that glide into the depth of range. So I'm trying to find where that joint's resistance is, and then from there, that's when I can apply some oscillations, very small. I'm not doing these larger oscillations because then I'm going to lose my depth each time I'm applying a glide. So apply that glide, and then from there, some deeper oscillations, just kind of backing out a little bit, going back in. Out and in, okay? Now the third tip I want to share here is sustaining that glide. Because I have a good body position, I can actually be very comfortable here for a while, and after I perform some oscillations, now I could add some dorsiflexion rocks, which can be really helpful for now gliding that joint through the associated functional range of motion, which is going to be dorsiflexion. However, what a lot of people do is they'll maybe finally get a good glide, do their oscillations, and then as they start rocking into dorsiflexion, they might lose that. So sustain that glide, provide that input while we rock through dorsiflexion. We could even do some contract relax, so push into my thigh, push, 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 and relax, and then move her into more dorsiflexion. Contract one more time, push, 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 and relax. And you can see how far over I'm getting on top of her body here, on top of her ankle, which is going to really allow me to create leverage into the joint. And I'm quite comfortable here, as I said, as we have her leg supported on my thigh, and we're providing that input. I could actually be here for a few minutes if I need to. And there's a lot of other ways and things we can work on to maximize dorsiflexion, which we'll go over in the online courses and membership as well too. Okay, so that's the 3 tips I have for maximizing your posterior talocrural glide. So just to review, we want to make sure we're setting the table up in a way where we can get on top of the joint and we're not going to have that table too high and our body position is going to be scrunched up. Second, I want to make sure that you guys are truly getting the glide of the talus posteriorly into the talocrural space, and you're not just hanging out in that shallow depth of the joint. Make sure you're really getting that deep glide of the talus posteriorly. And then third, I want to make sure you're sustaining that glide while you add in dorsiflexion or you add in some contract relax techniques as well. We're going to be going over a lot more in-depth stuff in our online courses and our membership, so make sure you check those out as they're going to be coming soon.